You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of nerds. Nerds!
Welcome back to Nerds Podcast. We finally get here. We are at the end of A Night of Seven Kingdoms, what most are ranking to be the best Game of Thrones show ever. That is a lie for me, Pete. I'm not going to tell you that this finale is great. As you know, Nerds Podcast, we're here to bring you to all the fandom, everything you want to hear, everything you want to know when it comes to the fandom things. And of course, we're covering A Night of Seven Kingdoms, episode 6, the finale, Morrow. They use jazz music in parts of this that just weren't needed, Pete. Again, I'm just going to say it. I think that the finale was a huge miss, but please give me some of the things that you saw and we could chop this up.
Well, I mean, just the end part, the end for me when Egg decided to go with him against, that's his dad, right? That's his, is that,
yeah, Makar's his dad, yeah.
Against his wishes because he didn't want that. And Dunk doesn't know. So he kind of like, did the okie doke with him because he had understood that he didn't want him to do that. But then Egg showed up when he was leaving and decided to go with him. So I don't know if that kind of spins into another season or it kind of becomes a story, one of the smaller stories in a bigger series. I don't know, but a subplot. But I don't know. It was that was the best thing that I would say was from the finale. Was that?
I mean, we could break down this finale. There's not much to really break down. It's just after effects of the battle of the seven and listen, there's a lot of things that kind of reality wise don't fit the bill for me, Pete. Here, so let's just kind of talk about this. Lionel Baratheon, of course, visits him at the hedge, kind of to start this whole thing off. And I did like the scene, of course, with him saying that, hey, we all fought for you, right? The Hardings, the Beesburys. And he even said it, the fucking Apple Boy. Like, I love the fact that no one knows Raymond's name and they call him the Apple Boy. But he has an opportunity now to get everything he wanted from just a couple of days ago. Just a couple of days ago, all he wanted to go into servitude and be a knight for someone in the high castle. And the first one that gets offered to him, Lionel, he shoots it down. That's like trying to get your dream job, Pete, and it's right there in front of you. And you just be like, nah, that's all I went through. After all this hard stuff that I went through, I don't want it anymore. That's not real, Pete. It can't be real. I don't care how the book was written.
Yeah, him saying at the end, I'm not interested. I want to get away from royalty and then and knights and all that. Him saying he wanted to get away from that, just like you said, he fought for all this, and then at the end, and then he finally gets it, and it's like, nah, I don't want it. It doesn't. Yeah.
Like again, just to show how much we were detached from some of these characters, I remembered when they had to bury Ned Stark, how that felt, how it kind of hurt. The Red Wedding, all the big deaths in Game of Thrones, I remember them vividly. Even feeling bad when the two brothers, the Mountain and Gregorian, fought at the end. What the thing was battling. I remember all those deaths, all those funerals. Did you feel anything at Baelor's funeral getting burned?
No. But I told you. But I touched on this before that I wasn't really invested in any of these characters because they didn't kind of grab us like that. The only one to me was Egg, and I guess it had to do a lot maybe because he's a child actor. But to me, he was the highlight of this whole series. When they were about to blow the horn to call the match in the 7-on-7 trial, and he screamed, "Wait!" and was pointing at him. Like I was like, "Oh my god!" Like but he was, to me, was the highlight of the show, and Yeah, and this has come from a kid who kind of, I guess, stole the show from all these other actors. To me, and nothing against these guys, nothing against any of the other actors, but to me, it was Egg.
Yeah, listen. For me, the highlight wasn't even Ed coming out. It was the fact that Raymond married that redhead whore. That was the best part for me because she's prego, obviously from the other guys that been training on her. And she marries Raymond. She marries Raymond, and he thinks it's great. Yo, like he's so naive that he thinks that you can get a woman pregnant like that, and he's, they're gonna have a baby, and he's separating, of course, himself from his family because he's no longer a red apple; he's a green apple now. So it is what it is. That to me was the best part because of all this, Raymond gets knighted, gets a chick, and gets a kid all in the same weekend. Like, this is the type of show that was left for the finale. And Pete, I know I'm saying this in jest. I have to say this in jest because this is laughable as a Game of Thrones series finale. Am I just ranting at this point, Pete?
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying. It's the aftermath of, I guess, the climax of the series, which was the 7-on-7. This was like they're coming down from that and the aftermath and just seeing how everything is falling into place now. But as a finale, it was a little weird, I guess. I guess what we saw last week was somewhat usually saved for the finale, not for the episode before the finale. So I get it. It seems a little weird is the way they kind of the setup for this show, for this whole series. It seems a little weird.
I think they killed the series. If they did anything else, they killed the series. And I'll explain this in a second, Pete. Of course, we get the origin of Penny Tree, right? He puts a penny into the tree, goes to war, and comes back to collect the penny. If he never collected the penny, hence he didn't make it back, which I thought was a cool idea for the whole Penny Tree thing. Again, some of the things in the finale that kind of sewed it up. And again, just trying to figure all this out myself as I think about, as people are like, oh, this is the best series ever. Like, I'm laughing at when people say that because I didn't read the books, right? And I think sometimes when you read a comic book and then you watch a movie or something, or the stuff, you're a little bit more critical. And I tend to be on that side, Pete, a little bit more critical when I know the product and I know exactly where the story's supposed to go. Here, I was enjoying the show. They did a phenomenal job in episodes 3 and 4. 4 and 5, and 6 just kind of dropped the ball. But I guess the turn and the most interesting thing here is Makar, the second time giving him an offer to come into a realm, and he said, "I'm gonna finish off your training, bro. Like free training to become as good as a knight as he possibly could be." All he has to do is hang out with Egg a little bit more because he's gonna train Egg, and he gets to live a good life. Again, turned it down, didn't understand that portion of it, but I did like the fact that they both kind of carried the burden for Baelor. He said, "I'm gonna be known as the guy that killed his brother. You're gonna be the guy that's known that killed the greatest king that could possibly have been because of the stuff that you were into." I did like that portion of it. But I got to ask you, were you rooting for him to say yes to any of these offers?
Yeah. I mean, I think that was what, we kind of wanted for him, being that the way he grew up, he had nothing. He was always had nothing. So finally he's going to be, he didn't even have respect, and he's getting it. And then he's like, nah, I'm all right. And I'm just like, what is the point of these 5 episodes before this? If you're going to turn everything down, a little frustrating because again, we started out when we started watching this episode, the series. We both admitted that it started off slow, very slowly. Like you said, it picked up in 4 and 5, but just a big old
like drop the ball. You're there at the goal line, and it's 4th and inches, and you decide to throw the ball. That's what happened here. They overthought it, in my opinion. one of the cooler scenes of this finale, Pete, was Egg went to kill his brother.
Yes. Yeah,
and his dad was there in the cut, like waiting, and that's the point of he wanted to have Dunk kind of be with Egg because everything that he's done for his sons, right? They're all a bunch of dicks, and if he could take him away from all that, all that stuff that they've been through, which is why Darren had the conversation with Dunk, like, yeah, don't worry, we'll make a man out of him. We'll just make another one of us instead of you taking him on. So he guilt tripped him, and that's when he was like, I'll take Egg, but he's got to leave with me. We're not going to be part of this other stuff as well.
Yeah, it's not going to be here.
But as a dad, would you really want your kid to grow up poor knowing that he's rich? So
yeah, he said that about.
Take me through all that stuff.
Salty beef jerky, all that other stuff.
Salted beef.
He didn't want him to grow up that way. I get it, but I can see that point, and like, oh, it's going to be counterproductive if he's still in this environment, regardless if he's under me, he's going to pick up these things. So the best thing would be to get him completely away from this. So
let's get to the ending of this, because again, it's there's no highlights here. There's no highlights of the nature when it comes to this episode. There's bits and pieces that were like, okay. Like, I wanted to see Egg kill his brother. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see the little boy stab his brother. But again, it is what it is, and it is. But Raymond gets his horse back. He says, "Nah, keep the horse. You're good. You have a prego. You have a kid on the way. Go ahead and do you." Did you believe Egg when he said, "My father told me to serve you"? Did you believe it again?
Yeah, I don't think I had any reason to not believe him. I guess obviously we found out that he was lying, but I didn't have any reason to not believe him.
Yeah, and of course we get a post-credit scene and Makar's looking for Egg, like, where the hell is he at? So we know now that it wasn't supposed to he wasn't supposed to leave with Dunk. So we get kind of the beginning of where we first started again. So we just came full circle again to where we first started. We did get a something that there's 9 kingdoms, not 7 at the end, where he said that was kind of important. But again, so it kind of reviewing this stuff, what else could they do? Because that I know of, the novella is nothing but short stories of them on missions. I don't think that's a valuable series to move forward, which is why I say they killed the series, Pete. I don't see where they can continue this and just do these little off stories about Dunk and Egg. I mean, eventually I think Egg becomes king, so you'd have to fast forward that in a sense. But these little missions to get there, do you think it's that interesting to make another season 2 of this? Because they talked about 15 seasons of this.
No way. Well, one, so like you just said, if they fast forward it, think about it. Every time you see a child actor and you see him in the next series, they've grown. So he's probably going to be a lot taller than if we see him in another series. So if that's what you're talking about as far as fast forwarding the series, they probably may need to do that because of that. That happened in Wednesday. Pugsley, he had a growth spurt, and of course he's taller than everybody in the second season, and he wasn't in the first. So that's what happens, unfortunately, with child actors. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't think this is a series that was needed. Again, people are talking, like you said, people are talking about it's the best Game of Thrones series ever. I didn't see that the same way people. I mean, and I'm not a Star Wars head, but people were saying that about Andor, and I'm looking around like I don't see it. I don't see that with Andor. But again, that's just me. But I'm on the same page with you as far as this is not anywhere close to the best thing they've put out Game of Thrones wise.
Yeah, I'm sad to say that I think Alien Earth had a better finale than A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Am I wrong by saying that, Pete?
No.
Okay. I want to think I'm not. And again, and that was another series that kind of confused the hell out of me as well when it comes to lore and things of that nature. Well, folks, we covered it. We did it. Your responses are needed. Does this deserve a second season? And if you haven't been here before, man, don't forget to like the episode as well. We always appreciate all the subscriptions. So first time here and you're subscribing, don't forget to hit that bell to make sure you get the latest videos as well. And Pete, I hope that that we will turn and not of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, unfortunately.
It'll be a scream, baby. That's all I gotta say.
It'll be.
The worst episode ever.